Hello, welcome in my new video. I'm gonna make this video about one problem which I think is very common, and that is some problems which people encounter in solving long-term problems and kind of solving situations where you maybe have some situation in your life which is uncomfortable for a long time and you kind of can't understand what is going on, and these are kind of the huge problems which you might encounter, like problems with relationships. Maybe you have problems finding somebody for a relationship and having long-lasting and happy relationship, and maybe you also notice that some problems keep happening to you again and again and again, and maybe you feel like you don't know where is the problem and what you are doing wrong. And I would like to say, this doesn't have to be only applied to relationships, it can also be applied to other problems. But I will start with like the theory which is behind that, so that you will know what I mean. Also, if you're new here and you seeing my video for the first time and you kind of enjoy like topics from self-help and psychology or personal development, or trying to understand what is behind some patterns in which people act, or if you like just thinking about this kind of stuff, you can subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have some requests for future videos, you can also write it down in the comment section and I will look at it, and if it's something that I will feel like I can make a video about, or I will be able to gather some knowledge for that, if I won't have it already, I will really make my effort to make this video. Even if you have some special problem which you think you would like to get some perspective on, you can also write it in the comments and I will see if I can like make a video about it or not. And so I would like to start with my video. Usually I will give you a specific example because I feel like I can describe the theory better on some specific example. So imagine, and this is elaborate example, this is not inspired from the real life also, although I think this is happening a lot. But imagine that you have a man and a woman and they kind of have this relationship where the man is kind of maybe like overpowering the woman, and maybe he's abusive to her, and the woman is kind of playing kind of this victim, I would say, and she's kind of being abused. And maybe this woman, she's like, okay, this is not good, I don't like this relationship, but for some reason she can't quit, and so she will decide that one day she will just break up with this partner of hers and she will go and find her somebody else. What just happened in this situation, if I should describe it like in some more generalized terms, is that basically in this situation in which she was, she could have applied two types of solution. She could have applied like, well, more types of solution, but generally speaking, she could have applied basically some kind of external solution or internal solution. External solution would be, in this case, that she would think that she would change the external circumstances and therefore break up with the boyfriend of hers. So she basically changed her external circumstance. Now she doesn't have this boyfriend of hers, and so she thinks that everything is gonna be alright. But likely what's gonna happen to this woman is that she quite possibly will find another man who's going to be very similar to the previous one, who's also going to be probably abusive, and she's going to experience the same thing again. I think that the reason for that is that she only solved the problem on the external level by changing the external circumstances, but she didn't resolve the problem on the internal level. What do I mean by solving the problem on the internal level? It basically means that in every situation in which you are in life, it's good to encounter how you contributed to the situation. If you like freely chose this person to be with, it's like that, you just made a decision and you started being with this person, and there was a reason for that. It's not like this person forced you to be with him, although there are cases like that. But right now I'm talking about example where people are together voluntarily. And so this woman, she was voluntarily engaged in this relationship. She chose this man because maybe he had some qualities which were appealing to her. Maybe she liked that he's being manly and he's being kind of dominant over her or something like that. And so she found that maybe she felt like she's feeling safe with him in some way, because the internal issue with her probably can be that she just has issues being by herself. She likes the fact that somebody is kind of ruling over her and taking the decisions and making, like, being the responsible one, and she can then be the so-called victim and be like, oh, this is not my fault, this is the fault of my partner, he's abusive, he's the wrong one, and I'm just victim. But you see, there's never an abuser without a person to abuse. And a lot of the times, if somebody is used to being the victim, this person is always going to enter relationships, the new relationship and then another relationship, always being this victim. And so there are really low chances of being, like, happy in a relationship unless this woman solves her internal issues by herself. In my opinion, what would be better in this case, where she was with her abusive boyfriend? What would be better, in my opinion, would be that she would start working on her internal problems, which means basically trying to make herself aware that she has a value as a person. She can make decisions for herself. She can be responsible for these decisions, even if they're bad ones, even if it's not going to work out, because some decisions just don't work out. And so if she take responsibility for everything that is happening to her and stand on her 2 feet, maybe suddenly she would realize that she doesn't need anybody else to decide for her or to manipulate her in some way, and she would be able to be by herself and be able to say, like, no, I don't want this kind of relationship. And then when she changed her internal state, she would be able to break up with this boyfriend of hers in like calmly, and also change the external circumstance, because that also helps. But what I believe is more important is always change the internal circumstance and then change the external circumstance. You can do it like first change the external circumstances and break up with, like, this boyfriend, and then be alone for a while and figure out what is it that you want, and then work on your internal problems. But you gotta understand, if you only change your external circumstances, it's never gonna work in a long term, and there's really high possibility that you're gonna encounter the same problems again and again, because you just keep acting in this pattern. And it doesn't only have to be with this kind of relationships. It can also be when you have basically any kind of toxic relationship with anybody, maybe with your friends, with your parents, with siblings, with your family members, with I don't know who, with your neighbors, whoever these people are. It's basically, you can, like, avoid these people and change your external circumstance, but if you're not gonna realize where is the problem and why you got in a relationship with these people in the first place, because there was something about them which drag you towards them, and there was a reason why you met these people in the first place. And so, but this is something that people don't like to hear, and I know that me saying this is kind of, I feel really strange making this video, because I know that there can be many people, many women maybe, who have really difficult relationships and who may be gonna be offended by what I'm saying here. But I don't know your personal situation. If you really have no choice, then I don't know, like, what to tell you. But I'm describing a situation that is more like on the, like, normal level, where you really are entering freely the relationship with the man in which you are entering, and when you have a free choice. Because a lot of the times you can have, like, a relationship which can appear normal to outside people, but there can be something pathological inside of this relationship. But if you are a woman or a man, whoever, who has these problems, then you gotta understand why you got in this relationship in the first place. It's really not so much about the other person. Of course, the man who is kind of abusive, he also has some internal problem. He also has something in him that keeps dragging him towards this kind of women. And that's then his work to figure this stuff out. But you don't, if you are a woman who's being like in this kind of relationship, you don't have to worry about this man. You only have to worry about yourself. And what is it going on with you that you keep being dragged towards these men? Because a lot of the times I see that people think that it is just like that they're just attracted to somebody and they don't know why, and it is just like this and they can do anything about it. But what I think personally is that this is only true on some level, because if you truly work on yourself and you change yourself like steadily, peacefully over a longer period of time, you will get to know your own value. You will know who you are. You will be able to be responsible for yourself, take your own decisions, find out what you want in life, and realize that you are a worthy human being who should be treated well and who deserves to be treated well. And you will treat yourself well, and you will realize your own value, and you will become aware of it on the deepest level. Then you're just gonna stop being attracted to these people who are mean to you. It's just really strange, because nothing in life is set in stone. This is just what, when I first realized this, not in connection with relationships, but with life in general, when I realized that nothing is set in stone, it can be really frightening, because our tendency as people is to try to find a safe place. On one hand, we also want to explore the world and other things, but on one hand, we really want to be safe. And knowing or realizing that everything is constantly changing in life and nothing is steady and nothing is safe, and you kind of have to take this into consideration and realize this. It's really not easy, and it really is frightening. But on the other hand, it's also it's gonna free you, because you're gonna know that no matter what bad situation you are in, it doesn't have to last forever. Indeed, in fact, I would think that it's not gonna last forever. It's gonna change sooner or later, but you're just gonna have to help it a little bit and change yourself. And if you change yourself, I think that what's gonna happen to you is that you're gonna stop being attracted to people who have these major flaws. Because the reason why you are because if you think about it on a more global level, and if you look at it from above, and you're gonna see this kind of abusive relationship, you're gonna see that there are flaws in both of these people. You can't truly say that one is the really bad one and the other one is good, and he just or she just fell into this relationship by accident. It's never like this. It's like they have flaws, both of them, and they click because they have these flaws. If one of them had these deep flaws and issues and the other one was okay, they would never click in this way, because the person who would be okay by himself or herself, he or she wouldn't feel the need to be in relationship with someone who's flawed in such a major way. They would look at this person and they would say, oh, this person, he has some issues, and this is not healthy relationship that I would enter with this person, and so I'm not gonna enter a relationship with him. And so if you have two people who are complete and happy by themselves, they're gonna find each other, and they're just gonna be together, and it's gonna be a nice relationship. And sometimes you might even look around on people in your environment, and you might see that somebody just can have one relationship and second relationship and kind of explore and stuff like that, but all of these relationships are gonna be more or less happy or satisfied. And then you can see people who just also enter one relationship, second relationship, and all of these relationships are kind of really flawed on some fundamental level. And I think this is the reason why is it. Because there are flaws in both of these people. It's not like one of them is guilty of something and the other one is poor little thing who's being like in this relationship, but they both have flaws and they click together. And I would like to end this video by one last saying. This example which I described was when people are living in like a world where they can freely choose who they want to be with. I'm not talking about some situation in which you don't have a choice. I'm talking about people who have a choice and who enter a relationship voluntarily with each other. I assume that if you're watching it and you have like a free choice in these things, because I know that it's not like, it's possible that you're watching it and you don't have free choice, and maybe you can become angry at me for saying these things. Then just please know that if you don't have a choice, then I have nothing to tell you about this. This is really for people who have like choice in which kind of relationships they're gonna enter, because I want to help these people to realize what is going on. And so I would like to say that it's always important to think about not only the external solution to your problems, but also the internal one. And I would think that the internal solution is much more important, because you are the one who's dragging your psychology with you wherever you go. And if you have a wrong and flawed psychology, you're gonna just drag it with you in one relationship, in other relationship, and the people are gonna change, the external circumstances can change, and then they can help you a little bit. I know it's not like black and white, but in the end, it's like you're dragging yourself with you. And as I said, the external circumstance can change, but you will stay the same. And so if you want to improve your situations, there's always a need for some kind of internal change. And as I said, this can be in any kind of relationship which you live in. Even in a workplace relationship, because I even know people who experiencing the same things in the workplace over and over and over again. And I would like to end this video, because if I start saying another examples, it would be way too long. But I feel like this topic is so broad that I will maybe make in the future more detailed videos about other kinds of relationships, not only like intimate relationships, but also other kinds of relationship, maybe in work or like with friends and other relationships, because I feel like there can also be a lot of problems, and maybe sometimes people don't really like account enough for their own input into these relationships. And so I look forward to your comments, if you will have any comments to this video. I hope that more than like me pissing you off with this video, maybe I hope that you maybe find something helpful in this. And that's everything for me for today. And just please know that I know that this is really serious and heavy topic, and maybe I could have picked up a better example than this one, but I felt like this one is really, really huge, and I just felt like mentioning this example. And I wish you all the best in your relationships. Really, all the message of my video was that I hope that it would shine some light on maybe some things which you experience in your life. And that's everything for me for today. If you have any comments or criticism about this topic, you can write it in the comments. I will be really happy to talk to you, and maybe if you maybe understand something in this video or misunderstand something in this video, I will be happy to clarify that. And that's everything for me for today. And if you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel or give it a like. And I will see you next week with my next video. So have a nice now, and bye.